Hey everyone, Depressed Dior here. This is Final Fantasy Tactics. For those who are watching these out of order for some reason, just letting you know this is a post commentary. My this previous video, this video, and the next video will all be post commentary because my recording software decided to not record my voice. So for right now, I'm just showing off summoner spells and stuff like that. I had some job points on Mosh, so I went ahead and taught him Bahamut and Odin and the other summons he kind of already knew. I think he got them from a crystal or something. I point all this out, though I don't end up using Mosh, mainly because Mosh is such a high level now. I'm trying to get other characters to get caught up. Let's see, just trying to remember exactly all what I did. I mean, I just recently recorded these, so... I think I'm saying some stuff, but I don't really remember what it was. Generally, it's a lot easier to summarize things in post-commentary than it is to talk while playing. But we're going to be going to the next battle. The next battle will be our first encounter with Rafa and Malik. And it looks like we're about to jump right in. So, Yardow Fort City. I accidentally hit the L1 button, so I get a little confused about why it zoomed out. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into this. If you see any sudden skips, it's probably because I cut the video off to cut off the stuttering audio, which annoyed me to no end this recording session because I had a lot of it. It happened a lot. Anyway, so for this battle, I tried to grab a bit more physical characters this time, since I've been doing a lot of magic stuff. So I'm going to end up grabbing both our samurai. That would be Forge and what's her name? Area. And then I'll also take Shun again, as well as Hatanoka Koro. And I try to position them in ways to do okay. Fortunately, I find out that the position I picked wasn't exactly the wisest. Go. So I was going to try to do more physical stuff, but to be honest, most of this fight I actually end up using magic-based stuff, simply because Ramza is that good at offensive spells. So Yardow Fort City. If you're playing just the base game with no patches, this will be your second time fighting ninjas either way, so I guess that doesn't really matter. Anyway, some binary dialogue, which I'm not going to talk about, but like I mentioned before, this is our first encounter with Rafa and Malik. Rafa will end up being a guest, while Malik will be an opponent. They are Heaven and Hell Knights. For Rafa, there's nothing really too unique about her as far as the patch version. They've increased the damage of Truth and Untruth, which is the Heaven and Hell Knight primary abilities. The problem with Truth and Untruth is they're super random. They are all cross-shape AoEs, and the way they work is they are multi-hit attacks, where each hit will hit a individual square. So if you happen to pick I'm right now explaining that, if it's a cross-shape, that means that's 5 locations, and so that means if there's only one target in there, there's only a 1 in 5 chance that each hit will actually hit the target you're aiming for. I also start looking at stats. I show off Malik as a Hell Knight. Now, Malik gets a little bit additional stuff. He actually kind of becomes sort of a pseudo ninja. He has innate 2 swords, and he can use ninja weapons. So it makes him a little bit more versatile, I guess you can say. Also, I believe all Truth and Untruth abilities cost MP. I don't remember if they do in the base game or not. Most people never use these characters, because if they do use them, they're not going to be used for Truth and Untruth. As for the difference between Truth and Untruth, there might be some elemental differences as far as the individual skills, but the main difference is Rafa's Truth does more damage, but it's less hits, while Malik's does less damage, but there's a lot more hits. Malik can do anywhere... I think he could do upwards to 10 hits in the patched version, when Rafa can only really go up to, like, I don't know, 5 or 6, I think, maybe. Anyway, I take a look at everyone's stats. There's a ninja that has white magic and a ninja that has item. There are two summoners. A lot of the ninjas have flails, which means they have 100% accuracy, but that's not really a big issue in this fight. Rafa, as a guest in this particular fight, kind of just runs away and doesn't really do much. I guess she doesn't really want to fight Malik. I don't really know. Anyway, I find out my positioning was really bad because Malik immediately starts doing Untruth, and he does it in a position where instead of having 5 different locations, it's only 3 because the other 2 locations are way too high of an elevation. So with 2 people there, there's only a 1 in 3 chance that each hit will miss, and otherwise it's going to hit one of the other characters. So it just completely takes out Hatano Kokoro immediately. Regenerator triggers, but Area is actually pretty heavily wounded as well. It did less damage due to Zodiac influences. Anyway, we got the ninjas coming in. They have throw. For the most part, their throws are pretty not that threatening. They seem to just stick with fireballs. I think they threw 1 shuriken in this fight. Granted, they didn't really have much time to be offensive because a lot of bad stuff happened. So, battles, like I said, I wanted to try being a little bit more physical this fight, so I started doing Battle Song. Honestly, I would have done better if I had just stuck with Magic. Because in Magic, it would influence everything except attack, essentially. Samurai's draw ability is Magic-based, and Elemental is based off both Magic and attack. So, anyway, that Summoner is casting Ramu, and trying to cast out Arafa. That Summoner also knows item, and just decided to restore some of Malik's MP for some reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, it's Ramses' turn. Ramses is going to go handle his stuff. I'm a little concerned about Rafa, but I don't think this mission requires me to protect her. I also quickly find out it doesn't really matter, because she's actually quite capable of handling her own. Anyway, so I'm going to get in a position to try to hit as many targets as possible, which, conveniently enough, they're all clumped together. So I take a bit of time to try to figure out what element to use. Some of these enemies do have white robes equipped, so they are resistant to ice, fire, and lightning. So I'm trying to do a variety of attacks just to see what's the most efficient. Eventually I settled down on Blizzard, because Blizzard at least can kill one of the ninjas, assuming it hits. All of the ninjas have mantles, so they do have some magic evasion. There's not really much I can do about it. Also, I'm positioned in a way to ensure that if my mime does get back up, I don't accidentally kill myself. It's a little nice to see how these fights go when you actually have casters. In my previous playthrough, there was everyone kind of voted for samurais and lancers, so I literally had no casters for the most part. Any sort of casters I had were pretty much just hybrids. They were just like knights that had, you know, white magic as a secondary or something like that. I think the only ranged attacks I had were some people that had elemental and some people had throw because they were ninjas. So at least with this group, there's a little bit more variety. Anyway, yeah, so I started casting Blizzard, and I'm taking a look at what I can do with Elemental. I'm standing on stone, so I can actually do Carve Model, which does Petrify. Malik is immune because he's a boss, I guess. I don't trigger Petrify, unfortunately. I think it's a 25% chance with Elemental to trigger, but either way, it didn't really trigger. But it did do some extra damage, which is really all I care about. And I'm actually checking. I'm about to revive Hatano Kokoro, but I'm just making sure that I don't accidentally hit myself with Blizzard. The Blizzard's going to end up on that wall, right where that ninja is, which will hit the ninja and it will hit Malik, but it will not hit any of us because there's too much of an elevation difference to actually hit us. At this point, I should have switched songs to Magic, because that's really what I seem to be doing a lot of. The attack up is really only benefiting the Elemental right now, which would benefit from Magic anyway. So Rammo goes off, does nothing. Evasion actually triggered and avoided it completely. And here comes Blizzard. This, luckily my hits were true. Takes out a ninja right off the bat. It does miss one person. It misses one of the ninjas. The second Blizzard comes. Since Hatano Kokoro is back, we get double songs. Like I said, it doesn't really help us much, unfortunately. Magic's just much more beneficial for this particular group, especially since Ramp is usually forced to be in all the fights. We heavily wounded Malik, so he retreated on his turn. Rafa is just going to do nothing. And now the rest of the group is kind of left with this mess. They do have white. There's still a item in white magic user, so they're just gonna cycle some revives in. Unfortunately, the ninja that knows item only knows potion. He doesn't know high potion or X potion, so he can't really do much. He does know Phoenix Down, of course. Anyway, Hachino Kokoro wants some revenge, so she's just going to jump right in. Under 5 damage. Now, one of the benefits of getting an attack up was because it did buff the punches that Hachino Kokoro does. Like 60% chance to hit with full life. And he gets it. This is where, at this point, the ninjas kind of show off their speed. They actually start out turning, getting extra turns on top of us, which is a little annoying. Anyway, we're gonna do some trying to consider how I'm gonna actually handle this. The problem is positioning. I don't want to accidentally hit Hachino Kokoro, so I actually reposition a little bit. Also, I found out I can do exactly enough damage with Explosion, so I'm gonna take a step back and cast Explosion on that ninja that's on the wall. Taking the step back will ensure that the other explosion will hit the ninja over there for some little bit extra damage. So as long as this hits, it will kill him immediately. Now, the other problem, of course, is I could hit 3 people with Elemental, but it will hit Hachino Kokoro. So I was trying to deliberate, trying to figure out a way to get some maximize output. Eventually, I kind of just give up, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just take out the caster. Then we don't have to worry about any of the summons. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to figure out a way to do it. If I could have moved maybe one additional step, I could have possibly done something, but... I mean, one other way I could do it is I could have just moved in front of somebody and cast Elemental that way, and Forge's Elemental would only hit 1 target, but Hachino Kokoro's would hit 3. But I really needed to take out that caster. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that can back me up, but it's really up to Forge. Excuse me. My voice is a little scratchy because I'm essentially doing double commentary at this point. Unfortunately, Area is completely out of position. She actually didn't have a great starting position along with Hatanaka Koro. But with Mimes, it's pretty easy to be at least somewhat supportive by using an X Potion on herself. This will force Hatanaka Koro to heal herself. And that second potion is free. Still doing Battle Song. I think I don't even remember if I even switch at all. If I do, it's way too late. But I mean, I did hit for 300 plus with Forge because of all these attack buffs, I guess. Assuming he got any. Anyway, explosion hits, takes out the ninja. Get our second explosion. Does a little bit more damage. Unfortunately, the heal didn't really help because Fireball hits for 99. And at this point, they start doing some chain actions, which is a little annoying. Oh, yep, I do switch to magic. But at this point, the battle's pretty much over. We're just gonna push our way into the fort here. I do like some of these maps that have forts and stuff. Unfortunately, most of them are not random encounters, so you only get to see them once or twice, if at all. I think my biggest criticism is the maps are way too small in Final Fantasy Tactics. If you play something like Tactics Ogre, you can see a lot bigger maps. Anyway, another full life is being cast, and that ninja had an item as well. So yeah, they got a lot of actions, and then this summer immediately gets to do things and cast Moogle. It was just a chain of attacks I couldn't do much about. But they're still in a straight line, so I'll just do my thing. Even with half damage, it still do enough to take out the summoner. So there you go, 2 people down. I tried to go for a hit, but I missed, unfortunately. Ninjas actually have like 30 base for their evasion. Damage, extra damage because it was hit while channeling. Unfortunately, the battles do go a little slow because I'm constantly singing and dancing. But it's effective, so definitely pretty helpful. And look, another magic song. The only disadvantage of things like the Bard songs is it takes time to build up. I mean, it's just a passive buff essentially, and against fights where they're super aggressive that just wreck you, you won't have enough time to actually bulk up. Refa just does a lot of nothing, unfortunately. So once again, another chain of attacks. Fortunately, that 33% evasion that mimes have never seems to really help. I think Hata no Kokoro is only evaded once. I end up doing Chain Lightning, I believe, just so I can do some extra damage. It's not going to kill, unfortunately. This time I don't take any risk. I just do Elemental and that immediately takes him out. Now here comes the bullshit. Take a look at this. 85% chance. Miss. Miss. So pretty much I just waste a bunch of time because I didn't hit with either attack. I could have done a draw out, which would have probably hit, but I don't want. Katanas are actually rather expensive, and I don't want to spend those if I don't need to. Usually at this point I have a lot of katanas, but that's usually because I'm over leveled and have a lot of money. But I'm trying to keep that under control, I guess. That and grinding for gold doesn't exactly appeal to me. So this ninja's gonna get another action off, unfortunately. There's not much we can do about it. But he's the one that doesn't have any sort of healing ability, so he just gets one more hit off before the end. And that's pretty much it for the battle. As for what we got a Kiyomori katana, and we end up getting a Yagyo Darkness, or whatever it's called, which is a special, it's a upgraded form of a shuriken. We also get a Ninja Edge. That's pretty much it. So, I'll go ahead and call it. I am Vita Prestior, and this was Final Fantasy Tactics. See you guys later.